Kiwana, my baby mother says, CTV is definitely the boyfriend that you would get butterflies for whenever you see him, no matter how long it has y'all been together. Now y'all know why I be driving these niggas crazy. Now y'all know why these men be going crazy off of me, Greer. They don't even gotta be boyfriends, honey, and just the proximity of it all. Just be having these folk upset, girl. But thank you, Kiwana. Somebody said something really, really matter of fact, I was talking to Reckless Logic last night. You guys know my friend and my one of my favorite co-hosts over her. And we was just talking about like friendships and just talking about relationship dynamics and all of that. And he said something really, really, really powerful to me. It was something that I know, but it's something that I don't remind myself of. But every time I hear it, it's a resonance. He said, I think I asked him, what did I ask Reckless? It was something to the extent of, do you, like, we're living in this era where there is hands down a romantic relationship epidemic taking place. Like, everybody's love life is weird as hell, whether you're straight, gay, etc. It's just where the culture is. But then I asked him also, like, do you feel like there's an epidemic when it comes to friendships as well? Like, the universe just ain't popping them out how they used to be. The quality of people aren't where it used to be. People are real raggedy, got real raggedy energy, real raggedy spirits, real raggedy minded, just raggedy as hell. And he said yes. And then he said, people like you, Conscious, have to remember that you operate at a higher level than the average person. And that's going to make your experience of other people like you, like, rare. He was pretty much telling me that I'm stuck in the pot with a bunch of average motherfuckers. And I felt rewarded by that. I felt rewarded by that. I felt rewarded by that. I felt comforted by that. And it was a necessary affirmation. Because when I was growing up, I've always taken everything so seriously. I've always taken everything seriously. I've always taken the way I dress seriously, my hair seriously, the way I live stream seriously. Everything that I do, I am so serious about. Like, romantic relationships, friendships. I'm so intentional. I'm so committed. And I'm so, like, driven. And I used to be upset growing up when I would just constantly find myself in these, like, lopsided, one-dimensional, one-sided relationships. It wasn't until I got into, like, my mid-30s, probably around 34, 35, and I started getting into the empath ideology, and I really started to understand who I was and the way that God created me and what my gift was as an empath, that I really began to understand that by design, I'm not going to consistently rendezvous with people who can match my energy. And it's not personal when things are disproportionate. Not that they have to be, but most people don't set very high standards for themselves as it relates to the kind of person they are and the experience they offer to the people that they're in relationship to. Most people settle for who they are. They accept who they are, for better or for worse. And then they expect everybody else around them to be able to adapt and find value in the mediocrity of it all. That's the average person living. You can take the good or the bad. But still pedestalize me as a wonderful boyfriend, wife, husband, girlfriend, friend, whatever the case may be. Holds is raggedy. Those of us who are on assignment in this earth, those of us who are empaths, we're given a great capacity for charity and for love. We're naturally excellent and have this love thing in us abundantly. And you just have to look at yourself as a first responder. There's more pedestrians than there are nurses. There are more pedestrians than there are doctors. We're just outnumbered in this bitch. And you can choose what you want to do with that ratio. You can choose to say F everybody and withhold yourself and keep it pushing in life and match people where they are. If people good to you, you good to them. If they somewhat to you, you somewhat to their ass. If they terrible to you, you terrible to them. Or you can just all out stay away from people. Or you can continue to show up as your greatest self and charge everything else to the game. And just enjoy being made how you're made. And enjoy being in the world and living on the world the way in which you do. You got those three options. And you can decide. And everybody will make a different choice for themselves. And there's probably no right or wrong in how you choose to protect and how you choose to utilize your gift as an empath. The choice is up to you. But hoes are raggedy. Zombied out. Moving along, girl. You see what we're here to get into, girl. We got Miss Erica Mena, y'all's favorite Afro-Latina, to speak about today. So before we even get into it, I want you guys to go ahead and thumbs up this video until it's absolutely stuck. You guys know that thumbing up helps with YouTube's algorithm. More importantly, it triggers up the YouTube notification system. So when you thumbs up the video, you are literally knocking on the digital doorway of another conscious crew member and telling them to get their asses into the sanctuary because the king is in fact king. Also, shout out to all of the new subbies. Make sure that all of you guys have your notification bell set to all because you never know what day or hour the king shall be king. And last but not least, please share this particular live stream out to wherever it is you have digital community, whether that be your YouTube community wall, your Instagram, your Snapchat, your Facebook, the dark side of Twitter, and Tumblr, or your personal OF. I don't give a damn where you lay the link. Except them whores know that we are loud, live, and in color. With no further ado, let's go ahead and push on through. Okay.
I know a place where you can recharge your soul.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
And in the midst of brokenness, he gon' see your asshole.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
You gon' heal, you gon' laugh and catch a little shade.
Ooh, girl.
Y'all know he be slaying, y'all better stop playing. Come hear what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, you guys. Make sure you guys are thumbing up the video. Oh, honey, I do have Nicki Minaj Super Freaky Grandmama on site. Loaded. And I have Aaliyah and R. Kelly's eldest daughter. Okay, with the acoustic version or 4-page or letter. Also on standby, girl. The Lord told me in this season, we will seize the kingdom with violence, honey. So y'all know I got time, honey. So moderators, please encourage everyone to thumbs up the video. Hold on. Oh my God. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Wednesday. I cannot find what I need right here. Hold on. Anywho, All right, so we're here to get into Erica Mena, girl. Y'all favorite Afro-Latina. So you guys know all of the drama that Erica Mena has been in the past 2 months, girl. You guys know that there was an episode of Love and Hip Hop where Erica Mena and Spice, the Jamaican dance hall queen of the South, okay, got into a nasty, heated argument at the hem of what's old girl's name? Shekinah, okay? Tiny's old bestie, honey, okay? Who was mutual friends with both the ladies and decided that they needed to sit down and have a little chitter chat, okay? Now, all this drama started initially because Safaree, who was married to Erica Mena, during his breakdown in their relationship, decided to confide in Spice about everything he was going through. So Spice was being loaded up with all type of information and tea on Erica Mena. And mind you, Erica Mena and Spice were really, I won't say they were good friends, but they were good. Like, there was no bad blood prior to all of this. Prior to Safaree's divorce from Erica, everything was great between Erica and Spice, okay? So he's confiding in Spice, who's apparently one of his Jamaican childhood friends. They knew each other way before Love and Hip Hop. They grew up together in Jamaica and all of that. And in the interim of all of that, Spice had underwent a medical procedure due to some medical complications that were life-threatening. And I think she suffered from septic poisoning. And Safaree has showed public love and support to Spice by, you know, saying that he wouldn't know what he would do with himself if anything were to happen to Spice, etc. Well, Erica Mena and Safaree at some point got into a disagreement that led to her pretty much going in on him for having the audacity to show another woman all of this love and unconditionalness, and I don't know what I would do for you, while she is the wife and she's been profoundly neglected by her own husband, even to the point that she gave birth to their kids alone in the hospital room while he was in Jamaica doing the damn butterfly under a bamboo stick, you know? And she just couldn't understand how he could have the capacity to love someone else and not have that same reverence and honor for a woman that really tried to be a great wife and partner to him and is ultimately the mother of his children. Well, what Erica didn't know is that Safaree was secretly recording the things that Erica was saying in the privacy of their exchanges in their home, etc. And he, like a messy Jamaican power bottom, sent those voice notes to Spice. Spice held on to what she felt, which was she felt betrayed. She felt like there was no reason for her name to even have came up in a dialogue between Erica and Safaree, that she should have had nothing to do with it, and she took it very personally. She internalized it very deeply. And as far as she was concerned, it made her see Erica as a two-faced, fake-ass bitch who was smiling in her face, but had all this ish to say about her behind her back. So during the sit-down, where they were coming together to talk over some things and talk about the distance that was between them and this, that, and the third, the conversation was hardcore. Erica seemingly came into the discussion with her arms wide open. She came in complimenting Spice, letting her know that she has respect for her, that she loves her, she appreciates her. Ice was very defensive out of the gate. She wasn't here for it. She didn't want to greet Erica. She didn't want Erica to kiss her on the cheek. She was just very defensive and guarded out of the gate. And she ultimately really just came out swinging on Erica. And in the interim of Spice going at Erica and telling her, you know, all these grievances she had with her and how, you know, Safaree sent her these voice notes and blah, 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 blah. She also decided to add that she was sick of Erica whining and complaining about her marriage and Safaree and being a single mother. And she's just sick of Erica just whining and complaining because she herself has been doing the single mother thing for the past 12, 16 years. She's not the only woman that's ever been divorced. She's not the only woman that's ever been abandoned. She's not the only single mother. And she just felt like Erica needed to get her shit together and shut the fuck up. And in that, Erica started to defend herself and say, well, yeah, like, you don't got to really tell me nothing about single motherhood. I've been doing it for the past 18 years. And then Spice replied with, yeah, with the son that don't like you, the son that don't love you. The scorpion nature activated in Erica, and Erica hit a hard motherfucking left. And when I say left, bitch, the table went up on top of Spice Girl. All of the fine china, the forks, the knives, the butter knives, the biscuits, the salad, girl, the sliced tomatoes, girl, it all went up. And on top of Miss Spice Girl. And from there, Erica started spouting off like, girl, F you, etc. A bunch of harsh words were exchanged. Spice, kept going in about the children. Erica called Spice a monkey, a blue monkey, told her that she should have been unalived on that operating table. Spice was trying to get outside of the restaurant to beat Erica's ass. Erica was outside with a big ass vein in the front part of her membrane, girl, protruding out, trying to bust down the blinds and everything. It was a hot mess. As a result of the episode airing, there was outrage from the public, even people who weren't fans and viewers of Love and Hip Hop. And in that outrage, there was a call to action because of the anti-Black, colorist, racist remarks that Erica Mena had made. Well, this called for Love and Hip Hop to make an executive decision to then cancel and fire Erica Mena, which it has not been clear if Erica has been fired for a season or fired for good, because the response from Love and Hip Hop was she will not be appearing in the next season of Love and Hip Hop. It wasn't, we have terminated her contract, Erica Mena will no longer be employed by the franchise. So it still left a lot of room for discussion and debate, right? Following that, other projects that Erica had been working on also made public statements that they have already recorded and worked with and collaborated with Erica. So they're going to run the footage and run the content, but that Erica will also not be returning for further employment as well, following the statements made to Spice on Love and Hip Hop. Then Love and Hip Hop decided to do a round table discussion with some of the castmates that involved Lil Scrappy, Young Jock, Spice herself, Yandy, etc., who had a conversation curated by a activist who spoke to them about colorism, and they all shared their anecdotal experiences of racism and colorism and anti-Blackness. And it was a really great discussion considering the brand, okay? It kind of exceeded expectations, which were very low for Love and Hip Hop, but they did really well in the discussion. Erica Mena issued 2 different apologies, if you will. Initially, she pretty much apologized just to the viewers. She didn't even mention Spice. She just said she would do better, and she takes accountability for her words and if they impacted anybody in a negative way and in a hurtful way that wasn't her intention, etc. Then she got angry and kind of snapped on Love and Hip Hop and called Love and Hip Hop out for firing her because she felt like they were making an exception out of her when their whole brand for the past 15, 16 years has been allowing motherfuckers to act like the zoo, act like animals in a zoo. Everything has been allowed, from Jocelyn fighting everybody with a clip-in ponytail at the reunion, to Jocelyn and Stevie coming to the reunion high on cocaine, violent, tooted up as hell, from, you know, just all of the violence and slander and maliciousness of it all has been perpetuated on Love and Hip Hop. So Erica couldn't understand why Love and Hip Hop was allowing the viewers to pressure them to start all of a sudden creating boundaries that were never there. She also called out Yandy for calling her a monkey. Apparently, there's an altercation on some season of Love and Hip Hop that did not air, where Yandy also referred to Erica as a monkey, and she felt like not only was that not addressed, not only was that not aired, but there was also no correction. There was no heat behind it. So Erica felt like, so everybody else can just spout anything they want to spout. Not that it's right or wrong, but everybody else was able to act a fool and say these very same things without no repercussions, but yet I do what everybody else is doing, and I'm penalized and I'm terminated and I'm fired, and I done put 15 years into this plantation and helping massa to get rich and wealthy to further exploit other Black and brown people, girl. And out of everything I brought to the table, you guys are just going to clip me because bitches in the comment section are mad over a show that's designed to be the equivalent of the Jerry Springer stage. Make it make sense. So after all of that, we didn't hear anything else from Erica until this infamous interview with Carlos King, okay, who was also produced on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Obviously, you guys know him from Real Housewives of Atlanta as well, and other, you know, Black-centered reality shows. So Carlos King sat down with Erica Mena, and they got into some interesting things. So I'm going to tell you guys what happened in the part 1 of this interview, because there's going to be a part 2 airing on Halloween, ironically. And in that part, they're going to get into the confusion of it all and the whole monkey, anti-Black, racist business, okay? So this is what happened, and I'm not going in chronological order here, okay? Actually, let me see if I can try to go in chronological order here, okay? Let me see if I can go, bruh, in chronological order. All right, nope, because I'm gonna be all over the place. So this ain't in chronological order, girl, but she covered her and DJ Envy's affair, okay? Now, you guys know that DJ Envy, yes, Caesar Pina's godfather, the one who's tied up in all of the scammer real estate business, co-host of The Breakfast Club, girl, so in love with his wife. Well, he was having a massive affair with Erica Mena back in the day, okay? And apparently Erica, according to Erica, and she stood on the square in the interview, she did not know about the wife. She didn't know about Gia. She knew about the kids, but when it came to Gia, Gia was always referred to as the mother of his children. She was always narrated to be a baby mother, okay? Hey, you guys, thank you just here. How the affair collapsed was because Gia got into DJ Envy's phone and she called Erica and confronted Erica and asked her, you know, did she know Rashawn? Erica didn't even know DJ Envy's actual name. She knew him by Envy. She knew him by DJ Envy. She knew him by his performance name. She didn't even know his name was Rashawn. She was like, who's Rashawn? And she's like, Envy. And she was like, well, who's this? His wife. That's how that happened, bitch, okay? Now, she said that her relationship to DJ Envy was her first relationship after her relationship to King's father. which is her oldest son's dad. Okay, the one that she went viral for trying to drop kick in the head, you know, in the middle of the street, girl. Okay, what you gonna do, Erica? Kick me in the face like you did your baby daddy? I love that scene from Living Hip Hop, New York. Okay, she said that was her first relationship after her toxic ass relationship to her baby daddy. She said she met DJ Envy at a strip club, and he was DJing at, and she was hosting that night, and they met through a mutual friend. She thought DJ Envy was a cutie pie, and she actually was the one to make the first move. She caught him first, etc. So she pursued DJ Envy. Okay. Now, when Gia found out the goings-ons of the goings-ons, girl, okay, and I guess Gia was about to be on her Inspector Gadget, girl. She wanted all the deets and details, bitch. She said, Erica said, that DJ Envy tried to keep Erica from divulging all of the gross details of the affair to his wife, okay? She said that DJ Envy did shower her with gifts, girl. This is why she thought really that he was a single man, you know, because he was showering her with gifts. He was flying her and her homegirls out, girl. They had a very public relationship, girl. They were taking pictures, holding hands around the city, girl. Like that, you know, she was a day walker. She was a day walker. You know, it wasn't like this was some in the middle of the night excursion, girl. He's trying to hide her, tuck her away. They all out in the open with the situation. So Erica didn't think anything of it because it was such a public, casual relationship. DJ Envy was spending all type of coin, honey. Did he get it from, you know, Caesar Pina, girl? Did he use the money from the accusers, girl? You know, to buy Erica all type of fusions and clip-in weaves and Dolce & Gabbana glasses, girl? Okay, was he taking the victim's money, girl? You know, and helping her to get lip injections and shit with, girl? We don't know. Then she said shit really hit the fan when DJ Envy went on air and blasted Erica Mena and basically spoke degrading about her, acted like she was beneath him. And he was just saying these very derogatory things, spinning the narrative as if she knew about his wife when he knew that was not the case. He knew that she didn't know anything about him being married, that Gia was the baby mama, according to him. And she was really hurt behind him spinning that narrative, even though it was obvious that he was saying all of that in order to save face for his wife. She then said that she wanted to use Love and Hip Hop's platform to speak and correct those narratives because that would have been the biggest platform she had access to in order to control the narrative. But because Mona Scott Young wanted to politic and be in relationship to the Breakfast Club in case, you know, some of the castmates and everything wanted to go over there and interview with them to bring publicity to the show, she didn't want to rock the boat by Erica saying things in confessionals that would have put a bad taste in DJ Envy mouth, and then DJ Envy would have wanted to distance himself from the Love and Hip Hop brand. So it was almost contractual that she could not use Love and Hip Hop platform to combat her reality on a reality show, right? The gag. So there's that. Then she got into, of course, her marriage to Onika's ex-boyfriend, Safaree, okay? Erica's baby daddy, all right? She initially thought of Safaree as a disrespectful cornball simp who was introduced to her through a mutual friend that he was dating at the time, girl. Safaree is so trifling that according to Erica, the nigga came on to her right in front of the mutual friend of theirs that he was at that point dating. I mean, just all over her, telling her that she a bad bitch. My God, just impressed and wild by her while he was in front of the woman he was dating that was also friends with Erica at the time. So Erica was initially disgusted by Safaree and thought he was weak and weird. Then she revealed that he had to court her for 3 years before they even got to the point where she would even take him seriously, and that the show Scared Straight is where they really started forging a bond, because at that point he was just going so hard to impress her, to be with her, to show her that he was the one, and he was just pulling out all the stops. He had to go through her family, her friends, her management. I mean, she put Safaree ass through every hula hoop that there could be, you know, before she finally started taking him seriously. She was asked by Carlos if she felt like Safaree was in competition with her. And she said, yeah, she did feel like Safaree was in competition with her for the spotlight, that he was an attention whore. Okay, he was competing with his own woman. Then she started talking about the trauma from the marriage, which centered a lot around her being abandoned at the point of pregnancy. She spoke about how, as a woman, pregnancy is one of the most physically traumatizing things you can go through. It's literally death-defying, that, you know, a woman's life is literally on the line during the birthing process. And for Safaree to be moonwalking and pussy popping over in Jamaica while she's bringing a life they created together into the world, and she's having this experience by herself, she just cannot get over the sheer abandonment of it all. Just for him to abandon her in her most vulnerable moment. And here it is, she's bringing forth the gift that came from his loins, and he's not even here to care for her, to love on her, to protect her, to, you know, to just affirm her, and to just be a part of this experience that they created together. And that really caused like a massive ego death in her. She does feel basically that Safaree is a narcissistic piece of shit. Okay, I mean, Nicki Minaj told her from the jump that he was a clown. Then she said that the reason why she really was like devastated over the marriage and the relationship, and it was something that, you know, really almost took her out, was because he had worked so hard to prove that he was someone that she could trust, and that she was safe. And he did everything he could. He pretended to be consistent. He did everything he could to get her, and he got her. And as a result of him putting in all that work, she rewarded him by letting her guard completely down and being completely submissive. And then he turned around and treats her like a bag of shit. Absolutely devastated her, broke her heart. And my heart really went out to Erica Mena, because on the surface, that looks like what it looks like. But the deeper pain behind that is that when you get heartbroken by people who pretend to be good to you, only to find out that they are your enemy, you have to revisit your entire approach to life. Because now you don't even trust yourself, because you now know that you don't even know who's who, because people will play the long game. People will go all out. People will stick around forever. People will do everything to massage you into trusting them, and will stab you right in your front and stab you right in your motherfucking back And when you have been through something like that, it turns your entire world upside down because you don't even know how to be in the world and to guard yourself from the world when you now know that people know how to pretend to be something that they're not. So it becomes an even more painful experience than just me and this person didn't work out, and me and this person I can't trust. Now it feels like it's you against the world, and you feeling vulnerable and defenseless because you don't know what to do with something like that. You don't even know how to vet anybody. You don't know how to even create and put systems in place to test and try the spirit, because people will commit to doing what needs to be done to excel and to get that grade A on those tests that you're giving them. And even somebody who will walk the rite of passage, walk through the fires, walk on the coals for you, will still Jason Voorhees your ass up badly. So it really almost took her out. What was interesting when she got into this is that she spoke about, even with everything that Safaree did, abandoned her, played her, dog walked her, that she still regrets how bad the breakup was. She regrets the very deplorable, ugly things she said to him. She spoke about how, as a woman, when you bruise a man, I'm burping, girl. As a woman, when you bruise a man's ego, that it's almost impossible to get that man back, to get him to be present again once you go for his ego. I really empathized with Erica when she said that. Because there was something about that that's just purely historical as well. I think it's unfortunate that women have absorbed this narrative that they are to be a helpmate to a man, and they're there to be led and saved and rescued. And when shit goes left, that even when the woman has a right to bear arms, even when the woman has a right to stand in her power and use that power to destroy the thing that's trying to destroy her, that even when she has full right to go full throttle on her enemy, that even with all that, the feminine can still humanize the enemy and still in some way feel responsible for the fight they never even asked for to begin with. There was something very profoundly human and tragic about that. And it really, kind of tugged on me, because whether you like Erica Mena as a person or not, I think when you listen to some of this, it's just relatable. It's just relatable. Because it's been a lot of people's experience, especially women. So she have regrets around bruising his ego. Now, I want to mention too that personally for me, I believe in busting egos. I believe that the problem with niggas is the fact that they got egos. I believe that what's wrong with men's community is the fucking ego. I believe that what's leading to the domestic violence and the Black femicide of it all and the hypocriticalness and the sexism and the double standards of it all is the ego. And we have done a disservice for all of us who represent the feminine, whether that's trans women, whether that's biological women, whether that's effeminate gay men, whether that's effeminate men who are straight, however the feminine represents itself, that we've done a disservice to ourselves by actually accepting that it's a man's world. Because at whatever interim in history that the general consensus became that this is a man's world and everybody else is in it, what we did was all accommodate that narcissism. And now that we checking niggas about the narcissism, they deaf tone and don't know what we talking about because we participated in allowing them to believe that it was okay for it to be their way. That it was in fact their world. And that our role was to play according to those rules of engagement. Now, niggas looking dumb in this whole equality thing. Now niggas looking dumb in this whole accountability. Because there was a catering to that attitude and that egotism. And now that egotism has turned incredibly violent. It's turned incredibly anti-woman. It's turned incredibly transphobic. It's turned incredibly homophobic. It's turned incredibly sexist. And it's violent. And it's terroristic. And it's menacing. And it's rearing its ugly head. This narcissism is plateauing. And even though there is going to be a lot of losses that are going to be taken on behalf of those who are fighting to reverse this shit, because men are going to go to war in order to stay in power. Men are going to pillage. Men are going to unalive. Men are going to do those things to hold on to a false sense of self, which means that there's going to be blood in the land. For those who are saying, hell no. For those who are saying, I refuse to let my daughters live the same life that grandma did. Yeah, she had a 77-year marriage to grandpa, but what she didn't tell our asses was that grandpa was a Rolling Stone and grandpa was going upside her damn head all 77 years and grandma didn't have a damn voice and didn't have a damn identity outside of being subservient to a niglet. That no, I'm going to teach my daughter to have autonomy over her body, that she can wear what she wants, and that a man is not entitled to her flesh, regardless of where her flesh is hanging out, regardless of where her flesh is spilling out of the clothes, that is not an invitation, that a man is not entitled. For women who are going to say no to a man, trying to get her number, are willing to take the risk of upsetting a man's ego, which we saw just a few months ago resulted in a Black woman having a brick thrown at her face because she refused to provide her phone number to a man outside of a club. As scary, as horrific, as terrible as this attempt to hold patriarchy accountable is going to be, as much violence is going to happen to queer men. Shout out to O'Shea Sibley, who lost his life a few months ago because he had the nerve to be proud, loud, and gay at a gas station dancing to Beyonce and was stabbed to death by a man who inserted himself into O'Shea's experience to tell him to calm all that gay shit down. And because O'Shea stood up for himself, he was then fatally stabbed by somebody who just couldn't decide to mind their business. for the trans woman who just got kicked and beat up on because she simply complimented a man who was in her way and told him to get his cute self out of the way, and then decide to beat on her and chase her down the street and kick her and punch her and throw water and bottles at her and harass her. There's going to be consequences to the feminine trying to normalize itself in this patriarchy, trying to have some sense of normalcy and some sense of autonomy and independence in this patriarchy. There's going to be consequences to that. And even with all the consequences, I want to encourage all of the feminine beings to stand your ground. Don't allow the fear to keep you from the truth and the principle that you're standing on. Some of us are going to lose our lives in this war. There's never been no war that didn't come without casualties. But if we don't continue to forge ahead, despite the death toll, all of us will be dead in the end. We all will be dead spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically if we don't stand our ground. Don't allow the violence that's being met make you afraid to stand in the power of no. Take control, stand on your truth, and unfortunately, if your truth cost you your life, you get to die a hero's death and be a part of a change that has to happen. Even if we don't see fully that change for ourselves, we've got to fight and stand and toe the line for those coming behind us. Those effeminate gay men, those women, those girls, those trans women who are all coming behind us into the system. If there's going to be any safety for them, if there's going to be any respect for them, if there's going to be any protection for them, that's going to be on the shoulders of what we do right here, right now. So I want y'all to be encouraged. She also spoke about how she actually funded marriage counseling at some point when shit hit the fan between her and Safaree, but she didn't elaborate on how that exactly went. Obviously, it was to no avail. She spoke about Rashida and Kirk actually being relationship goals. She felt like, hell, they made it through baby mamas that Kirk really didn't have, infidelities that Kirk really didn't commit. All that shit was a fake ass storyline. But nonetheless, maybe Erica didn't know that. And she felt like that was her motivation to fight for her marriage. If she had saw a marriage go through it and evolve and be restored. And for her, that was Kurt and Rashida. But, you know, nothing happened. Then she spoke about Love and Hip Hop. She spoke about how Love and Hip Hop basically exploited the shit out of her. They didn't even pay Erica Mena the first few seasons of Love and Hip Hop. She literally said that Love and Hip Hop paid her in chewing gum and pop soda. All they covered was her flights, her room and board, and her food for the scenes that she was doing the first few seasons of Love and Hip Hop. Okay? It wasn't until when she said it wasn't until like after her and Rich situation and her contract was up that she was able to renegotiate her contract. And then she was able to make, some money, but she wasn't even making no motherfucking money, y'all. Okay, which I think should be illegal, bitch. Okay, because Erica Mena said that, she didn't have no manager. All she had was her dreams. She didn't have no manager. She didn't have no lawyer. So Love and Hip Hop was able to really bamboozle and hoodwink her. I think it should be illegal for institutions to sign people on without that person having proper lawyering. Because I'm trying to understand, how is it that somebody coming into the business, into show business, or into any business, especially show business, whether that's music, acting, etc., is going to know any better? It's not like you're taught this education in high school. It's not like this is a part of like the American curriculum. So how the fuck are you supposed to know what you're doing? How are you supposed to know that? And the fact that people can just sign you on to any type of a 360, 260, 110 ass deal, girl, and pretty much have you be a slave, girl, pretty much give you that P. Diddy package, is really wild. And the fact that this has been industry practice and there's been like nothing put in place to help fresh faces who are coming off the streets, coming out of poverty, coming out of all type of backgrounds with nothing but a hope in their talent, you would think that there would just be more protective, preventive measures put in place to help combat people being taken advantage of in this way, but there's not. And Erica Mena was pumped and dumped and essentially, you know, a damn sex worker for Love and Hip Hop, girl, put out there on the stroll. And Mona Scott and the execs and Viacom were the pimp, baby. All right. She said she had no lawyer, no manager, nor any experience. She just had a dream and a wig. Okay. Now, she said the day she met producers, the day she met Mona, was the same day she shot. That she made such an impression on producers, execs, etc., that they had her shooting the same day that she met everybody. She didn't know Yandy from a can of paint in the wall. Her and Yandy's relationship literally was built off of being put together on Love and Hip Hop. Yandy was the intro for Erica. And she said the reason why the Kimbella fight happened, which was like the second scene that Erica was in on season 2 of Love and Hip Hop New York. The reason why that fight happened was because Yandy had gassed her up before the scene and had put all the shit in her ear about how Kimbella is been talking ish about her. Boom, boom, boom. So she came in ready. She came in, girl, ready to give Kimbella them feet and ankles and kneecaps, girl. Thank you, Gemini. Ready, girl, was on 10. And so that's why she beat the hell out of Kimbella, girl. Okay, girl. Girl, Kimbella and Erica were fighting this close to each other, girl. Okay? Now let me tell you. That's how you avoid getting super injured in a fight, girl. If you don't want a bitch to knock your teeth out and leave you looking like Rashawn Rock, and you don't want no swollen ass eyeball in a fight, pull a bitch just close to you, bitch. Okay, keep her just close, baby. That bitch won't be able to swing, girl. She won't be. Keep that bitch pulled right there, girl. You just hold on, girl. Okay, you hold on to somebody come in here and break this shit up, baby. Okay, if you want to avoid any serious injury in a physical fight with a bitch, pull that hoe right to your forehead and keep her ass right there, bound and shackled up. Okay, face to face with you. All right, and take her ass down, baby, like the Titanic. Okay. They also got a little bit into Erica's sex life. And girls, now some people might have thrown their damn TV out of the window, girl, when Miss Erica said what she said next. Erica said she only had sex with several men and a woman. That being sin. Several men and Sin, her lesbian lover from Love and Hip Hop. Okay, some of those men are Envy, Bow Wow, Safaree, Rich Dollars, her baby daddy, her first baby daddy, and somebody else, some nigga named Clyde or Cliff or something, and then Sin. But she forgot about the other woman she was fucking. Remember when Rich Dollars and the other woman that Erica was involved with in the relationship, outside the relationship, had teamed up on Erica's ass, and they came to Erica's event, and Erica had punched that woman in the mouth, and that woman was also eating Erica's box. I was like, girl, you forgetting some bodies, baby. You forgetting some bodies. But when Erica said, you know, she a Scorpio, and, you know, she's very flirty, and she dresses provocatively, but, you know, she's actually very conservative when it comes to sex. Like, in terms of she don't just give her snooch away, because she likes to get real low down and nasty and gutter in the bedroom, girl. And because of this, she can't be out here freakniking with just anybody, because when she wanna fruck, baby. And she want you to fruck her like a sex doll, baby. No condoms and all. Shoot up the club, baby. Okay, tear every hole open. And you know, she just can't be hoeing out like that. So she said, you know, I can still basically count on all my sex partners on one hand. Yes, as a Scorpio, we flirty. You know, we talk a good game. You know, we talk that sweet R&B shit to somebody. But in terms of like getting down with the get down, girl, we really ain't about that action unless we really fucking with you. I can relate to that, okay? Because I can still count all of my sex partners on one hand, on two hands. And I'm 37. And I'm the same way. You know, I've been told, girl, I exude sex appeal and all that. And, you know, I got my titties all out and things, okay? And even with all that, baby, I'm silly. Because, like Erica, I like to freak like a porn star. And I just don't feel comfortable doing that with anybody and everybody. Like, I need to be really connected to you, and there need to be like a real situation going on, because, you know, when it's time to do what grown-ups do, baby, you know, we going to hell with it. And I can only do that when I'm seriously involved with somebody. So we'll talk. We'll flirt, girl. We'll move around the room, honey. We'll, you know, rub your arm. How you doing? You know, we'll be all inviting and enticing, baby. But in terms of getting down with the get down, you got to go through some layers of firewall in order to get that to really be a physical thing, okay? Now, Erica also got into her upbringing, child. She said that her mama was basically a hoe, and that she was given birth to in prison. Her mama was in prison when she was, you know, conceived, and that her older sister took over for a while. And then CPS eventually snatched her from her sister because her sister was only like 18, and I guess there's some mandate or some law where the guardian, I think, has to be 21 years of age. So her sister technically wasn't old enough to take full custody of her, but her sister tried to snatch her up anyway, and they kept moving about for a while because the sister was evading CPS, but eventually CPS caught up to them. And, you know, she was in the foster care system from there. Now, she said that even though she was in the foster care system, her family was still involved with her. Like they would come and visit, they would bring her things. You know, she was still involved with her family despite being in the foster care system. She also shared something very tragic. She shared that she was also sexually assaulted by an 18-year-old during her time in foster care system. You guys know this is why I always go in on the foster care system, because it's not a place, like it's not an alternative. I know, like during the whole Roe versus Wade situation and all that was going on, and we was covering all of that here on the platform, that, you know, for those who are pro-life, it was like, you can always give your child away. You can, you know, put them up for adoption, etc. It made adoption look way too idealistic. More hurt and harm happens to kids in the foster care system than it even does to them in the dysfunctional homes that they're in with their biological family. Usually there's more trauma to follow. And Erica Mena is just another prime example that the foster care system does not help. Okay. So she was assaulted by an 18-year-old man, etc. She never told anybody. She never told her mom. who was in prison at that time. She didn't even know that she was supposed to tell anybody because she didn't even know what that experience. She didn't even know the experience was wrong. She had no information about what was happening to her. So she just kept it to herself. And she didn't tell her mom because she was only able to see her mom in doses because her mom was locked up. So she chose to make that time about just, you know, her and her mom instead of burdening her mom with her experience. That's how she felt. So that was really, you know, tragic and fucked up. She said when Carlos asked her what was the mom locked up for, she said that her mama essentially was basically Joanne the damn scammer, and that her biological father, who was in relationship to her mother, was sending out her mother on these damn hamburger missions. Okay, that her daddy was basically pimping her mama out, sending her out as a runner, and that her mom wanted to get her a crib because none of her other children had ever had cribs. And she went and ran a scam, went and got a lick girl, and you know, pulled a fast one to get a baby crib, and it led to the law catching up to her mama, and her mama ended up being, you know, in prison for all of the fraudulent shit she was out there doing. She said that her stepdad came into her life at 8 years old. That's the man that she claims. That's the man that has her heart. That's the man that changed everything for her and her sisters and her mom. That man came into their life and just gave the love of it all. Gave the love of it all. And she still, you know, honors that man to this day. That's her dad. Okay. Then, hold on, Grace. Oh, yeah. So then she said that her aspirations growing up, like she always had dreams of being in entertainment, and that she wanted to be J-Lo musically, and she wanted to be Evelyn Lozada as a personality. So J-Lo and Evelyn Lozada were her inspirations, okay? The two self-professed Afro-Latinas. She felt like Evelyn Lozada on Basketball Wives is what really opened up the door for Afro-Latinas to invade Black reality spaces. And what I find ironic about J-Lo and Evelyn is that both of these people have been called out for playing in Black people's face. Obviously, you guys know everything that Evelyn, you know, been held accountable for with her shit with OG. And then you guys also know that J-Lo got dragged twice in her career. She got dragged back when she was in her I'm Real remix era with GWORL, and she utilized the N-word, and the coach was like, bitch, it ain't enough Afro and that Latina, bitch, for you to be utilizing the N-word. And then I remember at that time, like, there was this big controversy over J-Lo, and it was all over him. Oh my God, I'm having such a nostalgic moment. I missed that era. Oh my God, I missed the pop culture TRL 106 in Park, Diary. I missed that whole era. Like that era was my era, baby. Okay. And I remember there was canceling J-Lo. She had to like mute the N-word out of the song. It was like a whole thing, child. And then a few years ago, remember when J-Lo got dragged again, girl, because she had posted a picture of herself and then had captioned it something about being a brown skinned girl or being like I forgot what it was, but she considered it was something about being a brown skinned girl. Like J-Lo want to be Afro, babe. She want an Afro so bad, baby. And the coach was like, bitch. So interesting how she looked up to two arguably problematic Afro-Latinas. Now, Raul and Erica, that's King's father. Her first baby daddy, who she tried to kick in the head. What you gonna do, Erica? Kick me in the head like you did your baby daddy? Okay. She said that their relationship to Raul was, hold on. ain't Ryu. Ryu is such a sexy name. Don't like Ryu seem like that's a name that gives like dangerous dick. Like I would be scared to have sex with a man named Ryu because there's something about that sex that's gonna be like criminal. It's gonna be real felon like. It's giving real like that's a mugshot name. Like that's mugshot dick. Ryu like. It's such a like angelic, like big old weenie, like unnecessary weenie girth, like just like large meat is in the name Ryu, bitch. Like, isn't that such a powerful ass divine name, girl? Ryu, honey. Okay, now I wonder she was trying to kick her baby daddy in the head, baby. Ryu would do that to you, baby. Crazy dick on Ryu. She said they had a toxic relationship, that it was fun, but it was toxic, it was chaotic, it was twisted, girl. It was a beautiful nightmare, okay? She said he wasn't really a thug, but he was respected in the Sky Reeds. She also said, of course, talking about her son, because there's been so many narratives about her and her son and their relationship and all this and all of that. She said that her son is smart and he's introverted and he hates the spotlight and he hates fame. She said that she actually retired her mother when she started making big money and put her in place to pretty much be an alternative guardian for her son King, because her career didn't afford her to be stable, because she's on reality TV and she's in Atlanta, she's in Miami, she's in New York, she's on video set, she's a career woman, and this is how she's choosing to provide for herself and her children, which is in the industry. And she didn't want King to be moving around like a military child. She wanted him to have some stability, some consistency, some familiarity. So she put her mom on payroll, essentially got them a place to live. And that's where King lives with her mom. She said that her older sister also has stepped in to help her mom because her mom is of age, etc. Carlos, basically asked her, well, how does your son feel about you? Because it's been said that, he doesn't like you. And, that was something that was echoed by Spice, that your son don't love you, son don't like you. And she said that it's not that her son doesn't like her. She says that, her son is a regular teenager, that, he thinks he knows it all. He wants to do things that she's not going to allow him to do because he's not old enough and mature enough to do those things, despite the fact that he thinks he is. She said that, her son is just a regular young person and he has regular disgruntled feelings toward his mama like any other teenager has toward a authoritarian figure. She said her son loves her. They have, a relationship, but yes, like, is that relationship like the most idealistic? No, because, her son, is going to look at her as the bad guy a lot of times because she's just not going to let him go get tattoos and piercings and go do, shit that she don't think he should do. So, oftentimes he sees her as the villain, but, she understands that that's just a teenage thing. She said she's very proud of her son and that he's graduating this year. And when Carlos asked her if she felt like she made it, she said no. But as it relates to like my children, yes, like I've made it. And for my baby to be graduating and everything, yes, I feel like I made it. She also has a lot of regret over losing so much time with King because of what she was doing to provide. Those Jordans, providing, the best school, what she had to do to provide those things, she had to work. And, so there was a sacrifice on the back end, which was the time spent. She actually said that her and her son shot scenes together on Love and Hip Hop, that they actually shot some scenes together during her ceremony to Safaree, but Love and Hip Hop chose not to use those scenes for whatever reason, but that her and King actually shot together on the show. So she said like he's like up and down when it comes to the show, because she does sometimes, ask him, do he want to, shoot this or shoot that? And, sometimes he would have, sometimes he's not. But overall, he really doesn't want to be in the spotlight. He finds it weird to be famous. He finds it weird that random people he don't know just wants to come up to him and talk to him. And, he's just awkward in that way. And so, he shies away from all of that, etc. And she said that she feels like people should keep her motherfucking son's name out of their raggedy, dick-sucking ass mouths because he's not in the spotlight, and hoes need to respect that. The problem with that is that, like, how you gonna say people should respect that, but at the same time, you admitted that you keep trying to get him to be a part of television. So then what? Is the incentive going to be, once he's on TV, that the public can have at it? Like, you keep trying to make him a part of TV, and people keep making him a part of the conversation as a result. So that was that. Now, last but not least, I want to talk a little bit about Carlos King. I thought Carlos King had some audacity and some motherfucking nerve to... Obviously, this interview was for the sake of PR. Obviously, it was damage control. Obviously, the whole reason why it's split up into a part 1 and part 2 is because Carlos King is attempting to sway the audience through a woe is Erica narrative. Now, a part of that is bullshit. But then another part of that is, I understand it, because I always say it here on the platform that nobody happens in a vacuum, right? That there's context for why people behave the way they behave, bad, good, or indifferent. And understanding Erica's whole upbringing in life and lived experiences help us to understand the complexities of her life and trauma. Fine. My issue with Carlos King pulling a stunt like this during a moment of heightened controversy where the focus could be on anti-Blackness and colorism and racism and the lopsided relationship between the Latino community and the Black community, rather than making it about saving Erica Mena ass, is the fact that Carlos King himself, who has been employed by Bravo, has been employed by Viacom, participates in exploiting and dehumanizing these women. So it's just the audacity of me for him to sit down as a producer and all of a sudden now want to make a storyline out of Erica Mena when this is literally what the fuck you could have been doing in the positions of power on the actual show. Y'all could have actually been specializing in telling these women's actual stories instead of getting them to pull each other's weaves and wigs and being drunk and high and make a fool out of themselves and have their skirts up over their head, fighting each other down to the local Better Noches. Why did it take an hour and a half for us to know more about Erica Mena than all 15 fucking years of her on Love and Hip Hop? Because y'all wanted to specialize in the low vibrational. This is what y'all should have made a storyline out of. These women have actual stories to tell, and very interesting ones, very relatable ones at that. I didn't know anything about Erica's mom and upbringing and her struggle and her being in foster care, her molestation. Why is it that she been on reality TV? She been getting TV time and airtime, but all of that is focused on who she fucking and who she fighting. And y'all neglected telling these women's actual story and making meaningful content out of that. But then, and literally show that y'all have the capacity to facilitate a real story by sitting down with her and talking to her like she's a human being and getting her to talk as if she's a human being. Where was this energy on Love and Hip Hop? Where was this energy on reality TV? Where was this energy? Because I would prefer this than the shit that they turn into content over on Love and Hip Hop. over on Viacom. I didn't know shit about Erica the entire time she was on Love and Hip Hop. Other than she was a struggling Afro-Latina trying to be J-Lo. So why play this humanizing game now? Because it's convenient. Obviously. But it really like shook me that Carlos King, who holds positions in these areas of media and television, literally goes and is a part of the problem, and then had the audacity to sit down and paint himself as some virtue and somebody who has a heart and who's really interested in these women's stories, when he had the power to help these women to tell these stories on their time on reality TV. But instead, he spent his time pulling one bitch off of another. Weird. You know, it's the whole shit is just weird. Like how everything works in this industry is fucking weird. Like who everybody is fucking weird. Like, yo, I'm so glad that I live in this era where like media gets to be independent and you don't have to like pussy pop so hard anymore in the actual industry, that you get to sit your black ass down and really like deal with as little people as possible and still can have access to like the tip point of the pyramid, because it just allows you to avoid so much like usury and so much politicking with like weird ass folk with ulterior motives. I'm so glad that you can take off without being a part of the machine completely. Of course, all of us are a part of the machine to an extent, even independent media. But I thank God for the level of independency that exists today than there was 20 years ago when it came to being in media and being in the entertainment field. As it relates to this interview, you know, what's unfortunate is that I was a fan of Erica prior to the Spice situation. You know, I have a knack for other Scorpios, and you know, I thought, you know, she did what is supposed to be done when it comes to this version of reality TV. And then after the Spice shit, and then the way that she like navigated the Spice drama, you know, I had to off with her head. I wish I hope Carlos King sits down with Ice. If he's going to give Erica the spotlight, give Spice the spotlight too. Erica actions led to a really big conversation in the community. And I don't even know why Carlos would want to speak to Erica before he speaks to Spice, who would have been the victim of the colorism and anti-blackness. But he did. And I don't know what part 2 is going to give, but I hope that they really get into part 2, because I'm really interested in hearing how much Erica takes responsibility or how much she doesn't take responsibility for her actions. I'm interested to hear what she has to say for her actions. I will be tuning in on the 31st to see what it do. And yeah, depending on how that goes, I'm either going to have a lot of constructive criticism, or I'm going to be able to say job well executed in terms of owning that shit and putting that shit into perspective. So if you didn't watch it, I watched it for you. And if you're not going to watch, I'll be watching part 2 for you as well. So that's that. Check it out if you want to. It was an interesting sit down. If not, fuck it. I am about to go set up a second live stream. We got to get into some Bishop Whitehead and talk a little bit about him going at T.I., him going at Charleston White girl, going at DJ Envy girl, okay? Charleston White dragged the shit out of Bishop Whitehead girl. It was a mess. So I'm going to set that up. Set your reminder for that live stream. And I will see you guys in a few. And please leave all of your comments and thoughts in the comment section below. Make sure you thumbs up on your way out. Share. Tell a friend of a friend of a friend. And I will see you all later. Bye.